Καλησπέρα από Ελλάδα, welcome from Greece. Είμαστε στο μάθημα νούμερο 4, we are on class number 4 and on this class we'll see how we make sentences using subject, verb and object. It will be very important for you to revise the unit 3 because we'll start using some verbs on present tense. And also you'll always have to remember that the word endings that indicates the noun of a gender, because you will see now that to make sentences and make correct sentences you need to remember if a word is masculine, neutral or feminine, and you'll see why now. Λοιπόν, first of all, today we'll use the verb βλέπω, which means I watch or I see, to make some examples of how we make sentences. Let's enrich our vocabulary a bit. Let's see some masculine words. The teacher in Greek, στα ελληνικά, will be ο δάσκαλος. The doctor, ο γιατρός. The student, ο μαθητής. The dog, ο σκύλος. And the friend of φίλος, if the friend is male. Λοιπόν, now, if you want to say the sentence the teacher watches, you will just say ο δάσκαλος βλέπει. Okay, βλέπω, βλέπεις, βλέπει. Third person. If you don't remember the verbs, go back and revise. It will help a lot. So, ο δάσκαλος βλέπει. Now, let's see some feminine words. The word for cat is η γάτα, the door, η πόρτα, the woman, η γυναίκα, the chair, η καρέκλα, the mother, η μητέρα or η μαμά. So if you want to say the sentence the woman watches, you will just say η γυναίκα βλέπει. Η γυναίκα βλέπει. And now let's move to the neutral words. Let's see some examples. Λοιπόν, the house, το σπίτι, the book, το βιβλίο, the table, το τραπέζι, the tree, το δέντρο, the child, το παιδί. So, how will say the child watches? We will say το παιδί βλέπει. So far it's easy to make sentences. Let's now try to add an object in these sentences. So, again, λοιπόν, here we have the masculine article. How we use the masculine article if the noun we use is subject. And here we have how the masculine article will be if the noun we use is the object of the sentence. So, o for subject but ton for object. If the word we use is object and is masculine. So, let's take again the verb βλέπει, watches, and let's try to make the sentence. How will you say, let's take some male names now. How will you say Nick, Nikos in Greek, Nick watches Panagiotis. So here you will say ο Nikos. You see, I start with ο because here is the subject. Βλέπει, whom watches Nick, τον Παναγιώτη. Here. Okay, so ο Νίκος βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη. And if we switch the roles and we'll say Panagiotis watches the Nick, here we'll say ο Παναγιώτης βλέπει τον Νίκο. Okay, so always we change the articles. If it's before the verb, most of times it will be the subject, so we'll use o for masculine words, but if it's after the verb, most of times it will be object, so the masculine words will use the article ton for the masculine words. So, ο Νίκος βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη. Now, try to say the sentence Maria watches Panagiotis. Here Maria is the subject, so you will say η Maria βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη. Panagiotis. Okay, I say Panagiotis because when we use the nouns as objects in accusative, we'll see the cases of the Greek nouns later. We also change the word ending of the nouns, but for now we'll just focus on the changes we make on the articles. Only this, not word endings. So, Maria watches Panagiotis, it will be η Maria βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη. Okay. Now, if you want to say Maria watches Maria, two female names. Again, the feminine article e here is for subjects, but for objects it will be also την. So here it will be η Maria βλέπει βλέπει την Μαρία. Η Μαρία βλέπει την Μαρία. Now, some other examples. How will you say Panagiotis watches Maria? You will say ο Παναγιώτης βλέπει, let me write it, ο Παναγιώτης βλέπει την Μαρία here. Okay, because Maria is the object of the sentence. Ο Παναγιώτης βλέπει την Μαρία. And you always have to change the articles, and that's why you will always use ο, την, του, το. Ωραία. Λοιπόν, the most easy is the neutral article, because it's the same also when we use neutral words as subjects and also as objects. So, for example, if you want, let's take the word for house, which is σπίτι. Okay, if you want to say the house, what is the house, you will just say το σπίτι βλέπει το σπίτι. The house, what is the house, το σπίτι βλέπει το σπίτι. Αυτό, that's all. This is how we make sentences in Greek. And now, we'll see how we use the words to, at, in, and on. In Greek, it's easier to remember if you remember the box here with the word endings, because for all these words here, if the following word is masculine, you will use ston. Like, for example, let's take the word for bakery. In Greek is fournos. So if you want to say to the bakery, you will say ston fournos. If you want to say at the bakery, you will say again ston fournos. In or on the bakery, again will be ston fournos. So how will you say Nick watches Panagiotis at the bakery or to the bakery? You will simply say ο Νίκος βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη στον φούρνος. Στον φούρνος. Actually we say στον φούρνο. Okay. But again I told you it's too early for this. We'll see the changes we make on the nouns, if they are objects, later. So, ο Νίκος βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη στον φούρνος. But if we had the feminine word, like the word πλατεία, which is the square, and it's feminine because it only has the word ending a, how would you say Νίκος watches Παναγιώτης at the square? You will say ο Νίκος βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη. To the square will be στην, because the word is feminine, so στην πλατεία. And if Nick was watching Panagiotis at the park, Πάρκο has the word ending omicron, so it's neutral, so you would say ο Νίκος βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη στο πάρκο. Ωραία. Λοιπόν, now let's try to go to here, okay, and let's see some things, how we make sentences. So, here we have masculine words and here we have feminine. So, how will you say the doctor watches the cat? You will say ο γιατρός βλέπει την γάτα. Say the opposite. The cat watches the doctor. Η γάτα βλέπει τον γιατρό. Γιατρός. Let's say γιατρός for now. Okay. And let's make some bigger sentences using also some neutral words. How will you say the woman watches the student? Yes, the woman watches the student. No, let's use some names first of all. Try to say again, Maria watches Panagiotis at the house, to make it a bit easier. It will be η Μαρία βλέπει τον Παναγιώτη στο σπίτι. You see, at the house. Now, how will you say the book is on the table? Okay, we've seen also this before. So the book is on the table. The verb is είναι. So you will say το βιβλίο, neutral word, είναι, it is, στο τραπέζι. On the table. Λοιπόν, if I tell you that the phrase έχω μάθημα means I have class. Έχω μάθημα means I have lesson. I have lesson. And the word με means with. Now, take 1 minute and try to write the sentence. Maria has lesson with Παναγιώτης at home. Maria has a lesson with Panagiotis at home. So, Maria, feminine word. So, Maria has lesson. We change the word ending for third person. Maria έχει μάθημα. That's the word for with. Με τον Παναγιώτη. Με τον Παναγιώτη, because Panagiotis is the object here. Where, με τον Παναγιώτης, don't want to confuse you, where we said, στο πάρκο, στο σπίτι, I'm sorry, at the house, στο σπίτι. But it could also be στο πάρκο, at the park. So, η Μαρία, subject, έχει μάθημα με τον Παναγιώτης, object, στο σπίτι. The opposite now, Panagiotis has lesson with Maria, it will be ο Παναγιώτης έχει μάθημα με την Μαρία to the park, στο πάρκο. Let's say to the park, στο πάρκο. Ο Παναγιώτης έχει μάθημα με την Μαρία στο πάρκο. Λοιπόν, αυτά με τις προτάσεις στα ελληνικά. This is how we make sentences in Greek. Let's see one small thing here and some examples, and then you are ready. So, here, I will tell you something. There is a rule you have to remember if you want, but we use ton. The masculine article will be ton in accusative, but the feminine article will be t or tin. In accusative, you will find it as t or tin. The rule says that we use t in accusative, okay? No, we use t. We use the word ending ni. We use this ni, tin, in accusative for feminine only words, because in masculine we always use ton. We use the word ending ni, but we use the word ending ni in accusative when we use the article as object. Okay, if the following word starts with a vowel, or if it starts with the consonants ku, pu, tu, and the double consonants xu, psu, or all the combinations that starts with the vowels, so bu, du, gu, chu, and ju. So, you will say tin porta, you use the ending ni because it starts with a p, or you will say tin Alexandra, but you will say ti mera, the day, ti mera, the day, because it doesn't start with any of these consonants or with a vowel. So ti mera. But for me it's not the biggest mistake. For now you can just say tin for everything if it's a bit also difficult for you. So let's see some examples. How will we say the teacher sees the doctor? Ο δάσκαλος βλέπει τον γιατρό. The student sees the cat. Ο μαθητής βλέπει τη γάτα. You see, here we say ti because it starts with a gamma. The dog sees the door. Ο σκύλος βλέπει την πόρτα. But here we use the same, the ending ni. Okay, so actually this is the same article, but we just here use the ending ni and here not. So ti versus tin. Λοιπόν, let's see some more complicated sentences. You have the translations here. Try to download this book from the comments below. Okay, it will help you a lot. And I will just now read the sentences. So, η γάτα βλέπει τη μητέρα στο σπίτι. Ο γιατρός βλέπει τον σκύλο στο δέντρο. Η γάτα βλέπει τη γάτα στο σπίτι. Το βιβλίο είναι στο τραπέζι. Το παιδί είναι στο σπίτι, η καρέκλα είναι στο δέντρο and το δέντρο είναι στην καρέκλα. Random sentences just to understand how the sentences work. Αυτά για σήμερα. That's it for today. Για την επόμενη φορά, για homework, προσπαθήστε να γράψετε προτάσεις στα ελληνικά κάτω στα σχόλια, χρησιμοποιώντας υποκείμενο, ρήμα και αντικείμενο, και εγώ με τη σειρά μου θα ελέγξω όλες σας τις προτάσεις και θα διορθώσω αν χρειάζεται και αν υπάρχουν λάθη. Αυτά. Να είστε καλά. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ και ελπίζω αυτά τα βίντεο να σας βοηθάνε πραγματικά και τα λέμε στο επόμενο βίντεο. Μέχρι τότε να περνάτε καλά, πολλά χαιρετίσματα από Ελλάδα, καλή συνέχεια. Να είστε καλά. Τσάου.